Hello.
Happy Monday.
Welcome to Keto on the Couch, episode 174.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
two crazy ketos. And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you are new here, say hi down below.
Gotta turn up the volume. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto on the Couch. We just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives for the week.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time I get a new t-shirt with a funny saying, you'll be alerted to it. So, of course, I mean, I have to say, there was some really fun shirts at KetoCon. So this one I just got from Brendan. Barbecue is better with real salt. I would have to agree with that totally, but there were all kinds of like takes on brisket and hogs and like, I mean, it was just a lot of
go on that
funny Texas
little
shirts.
Nightstand thing for me and grab my glasses.
Oh, okay.
Where you had all this stuff. So we are still in Austin, Texas. We're leaving tonight at 5 o'clock on the Flying Tin Can. And yeah, so we're doing Keto on the Couch from the Airbnb, all that hustling and bustling you hear going on in the background.
Since I grabbed your glasses, I'm also grabbing some bacon because this is the last
the end of the bacon
of Steve's cooking. Steve from Keto Chow
till Omaha
is the most amazing breakfast cook ever. I mean, he cooks everything awesome. Last night we had some steaks. I mean, they were cooked perfectly.
Yeah.
But his bacon game, seriously, is awesome.
Yeah, and we're not going to see them until Omaha. So,
I know.
Yeah, so we all that hustling and bustling is Steve and Lynette and Holly and Chris and Miriam leaving.
They got a
Their
flight.
flight is earlier than ours, so make sure Steve and Chris just come say goodbye. Are you going to Omaha?
Yes, I will be in Omaha.
Okay.
Steve's going to be in Omaha.
Steve's going to be in Omaha.
Hello. Holly's going to be in Connecticut.
Okay.
Keto.
Oh, yeah. So if you're up in the Connecticut area, go see Holly in Connecticut. She's going to be at Keto Fest. Yep.
Super awesome.
So,
we love
bye,
you guys. Have a safe trip home.
So, yeah. So KetoCon was a blast. We have a bunch of videos that we're going to be putting out all this week for KetoCon. We've got some ideas. We found some new products we're going to do some reviews on. We've got a couple of interviews. So we're super excited. So today's Keto on the Couch is going to be a little different because we don't have our full setup.
Nope.
And we got in late last night and we enjoyed some just some steak. We hanging out with everybody. We had Julie from Fox Hills Kitchen come over, who we absolutely love her. If people ask us all the time, what is a good keto bread?
Fox Hill
Kitchen. Nothing you buy in a store. I'm going to tell you now, anything you buy in a store, all of the solar bread, it's all garbage. Don't eat that stuff. It's garbage. It's got garbage ingredients. They usually use bad oils. They're playing the fiber games. You want a good bread, go to Fox Hills Kitchen. I think we have a coupon code. It's like 2 Crazy Ketos.
It was
so
so
we just
fun.
loved hanging out with her.
It was her and her daughter, and we were just laying on the couches last night. I mean, KetoCon has been 4 a.m. in the morning to 11 o'clock. And now you got to wave. Miss Miriam. Look at it. And she's got the cutest shirt on today. Yay. Oh, and Lynette's here. Come here, Lynette, before you go. There she comes. Lynette was so much fun. Looking all, yay. So it was just so awesome getting to hang out. It was long days.
Yeah,
it was long days. And,
Bye, guys.
love you. The vendors work so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, just bringing their product and sharing it. And, I remembered we used to do comic book conventions when I was growing up and baseball card conventions. And man, that is just so tiring. So I was just really thankful for all of the exhibitors that came in. There were a ton. I mean, KetoCon is the place. If you went to KetoCon, please say in the chat, like, how much stuff did you go home with that they just gave away from booths?
We've got an entire suitcase, except for the Flying Tin Can charges $88 for an extra suitcase. So when we are done here, our flight's not leaving until 5 o'clock. By the way, the Flying Tin Can is Spirit Airlines. We are going to go to the post office and mail it home because it'll cost us, even if we have to do 2 boxes, it will cost us less money. Also, I made the mistake and didn't realize till last night when we bought our Spirit Airline tickets, and it was like add more, add more, add more. Chris, you leaving? Come say goodbye.
I want to say goodbye to you guys.
It's Chris from Keto Town. Yay! So I was gonna say I want to hug. I love you.
So yeah, I did. They have the add more.
Bye, Joel.
Oh. And we chose the middle one because I thought the only difference between the middle one and the other one was early boarding. What I did not realize is the middle one included a free bag, but not a free carry-on. And so we had to pay an extra $50 each last night to have a carry-on. So yeah, that kind of thing.
It happens.
It would have cost us $10 if we would have done it last week.
Yeah.
Now it costs us $50 for a carry-on. So yeah, we're going home with lots of stuff. But KetoCon was amazing. We did film our presentation. I don't know if it came out yet. I'm hoping it did. Everybody said it was good.
Thank you for being there.
If it came out well, what we're going to do is we're going to edit it. We're going to put it up. So we're super excited about that. And again, if you didn't go and you're in an area, in 3 weeks, we will be in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Orlando Fest. That'll be really cool. I think Dr. Barry's going to be speaking there. Kim Howerton's going to be there. So lots of cool things. And here's the thing, before we get into Keto on the Couch, you see we're staying with these guys. This is why we go to conventions, why we say it's got nothing even to do with the speakers. It's got to do with community. We stay in the Keto Chow house most of the time. We're not trying to save money or anything like that. You're our friends.
Yeah.
Right?
First of all, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who attended our presentation. It meant so much to look out in the audience and see you there.
They filled the room.
I mean, you guys filled the room, and we really appreciate that. That was just so heartwarming to us. And it was, I think, one of my favorite moments was when, Joe got to point to Chris, like, that's my best friend, like out in the audience. And it was just, it was so precious. I was like, you seemed like you were like 6 years old. That's my best friend. It was so cute.
So let's get into the Keto on the Couch. And again, if you're new here, this is all about subscribers. We like to answer questions and comments from throughout the week. We usually will have subscriber of the week success stories, but there was no way that I could put the picture up and talk through it.
Super Coffee was giving away like a ton.
We got a lot of those. And so we're just going to go over questions and comments through this past week. And we'll address the chat afterwards because I can't see the chat and read the comments at the same time. If you do have something and you want to talk about whatever we happen to be talking about, you can use the super chat function. I have my iPad going over here, which will highlight my screen saying that you have something you wanted to say. So we're going to start off with the very first one. It's from Joyce.
Hey, Joyce.
Joyce said, I'm sure this is a silly question, but BBB allows only beef. Can't poultry, pork, fish be eaten also for fat and protein? So Dr. Barry, when we did beef, butter, bacon, and egg with Dr. Barry last September, if you go to I want to say it was the Keto Palooza video, was where we talked to him about it in Omaha, and we started it on our way home from Keto Palooza. And I did ask him, why are we only doing beef, butter, bacon, and egg? So if you don't understand what it is, again, we have a whole playlist. We are going to redo it.
Coming up
either August or September. We have not yet decided yet. But the whole idea is beef, butter. You can only eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Beef being, which we did not know at the time, any ruminant animal. So that includes bison, lamb, and elk, and things like that. And then bacon is bacon. Now, he told us you can eat any kind of pork, but he's kind of narrowed it down to just bacon because pork is not as good for you as a ruminant animal. You don't have to eat one if you don't, for example, like butter. You don't have to have butter.
Right.
But
keep that one out.
The fat would have to come from your beef and your pork or your eggs. You don't like eggs, you don't have to eat eggs. You're just limited to those things, and you're limited to one coffee experience a day. Now, your coffee experience could be a 24-ounce cup.
A Pyrex.
But one a day. For a few reasons, and here's what he had said to us. The coffee experience, because we binge coffee a lot of times. If you're drinking coffee all throughout the day, you're using it as a binge, you're using it as a vice. We're trying to eliminate that. Also, coffee has carbs. Sorry, it does. There's just less than one per cup.
It was bad news for me,
which is
too.
8 ounces. The reason that we use beef for ruminant animals is because ruminant animal is the healthiest meat you can eat. You get lots of vitamins and nutrients from it. It's because of the way they digest their food. The reason we do not do chicken is even with the skin and dark meat, it is not fatty enough. Also, chicken, it's very difficult to get very clean chicken unless you're willing to pay about $25 to $30 for really true pasture-raised chicken. So a lot of times those hormones and things in there can affect you. Most chickens in the grocery stores are pumped full of dextrose water, or they do things to plump them up so that you get these nice big breasts. Chicken wings, we binge, and we're trying to eliminate binge food. So that is why it is only that stuff. The whole idea of beef, butter, bacon, and egg is we're eliminating pretty much anything that could be causing inflammation in stalls and problems. Most people are not allergic to ruminant animals. And again, eggs is about the only thing on there where some people do have reactions. And Dr. Barrow will usually say there, eliminate the whites and only have the yolks, which is the healthier part of the egg anyway. So that's why that list is the way it is. Dairy and all that stuff, not including butter, because butter, I don't classify butter as dairy. Yes, it comes from a cow, but all of the milk proteins and stuff are gone. So that is why beef, butter, bacon, and egg is the way it is. Ready?
Yeah.
Next one's from Donna.
Hey, Donna, since I am relatively new to your site, how do I access Fearless Fridays?
Fearless Fridays is part of our channel supporters. So the way you get Fearless Friday is being a channel supporter on YouTube. Right now we have a $2, a $5, or a $10 level. We're probably going to be narrowing it down to only a $2 level, which will basically get you Fearless Friday and that little sticker on the chat. The reason being is because the $5 level and the $10 level get some extra things, like the $10 level I think gets access to videos early, and also access to our member site at members.krazyketos.com, which also has a free aspect. Right?
Yeah.
But YouTube doesn't like us directing you off of their channel.
Right.
So we will probably at some point, not yet, at some point get rid of those and say if you want to support us at those higher levels to get access to those kind of things, to join our mighty networks. So the way you get Fearless Friday is supporting us basically on mighty networks on not the free level, the $5, $10, or $15 or $25 level. So that's how you get it. Or be a $2 member of
on YouTube.
Yep. So Fearless Friday is a post that Rachel does every Friday. It's an inspirational post that she needs to turn into a book. The next one is from the Well-Fed Human. Said losing weight doesn't make you healthier. Getting healthier makes you lose weight.
Ooh, that's good.
There is nothing controversial about that statement.
It's true.
It's absolutely true. Right? That's something I said last week.
It really, really is. And
John Paul's got me hooked on these.
The Celsius. It's so important to prioritize health. For too long, talk about like our relationship with ourselves. Why do we want to get thinner before we get healthier, right? Because I mean, think about like living your life. Don't you want to feel better, not just be in a smaller size? So I like that, keeping our priorities the way that they should be. Let's focus on health, and then I promise the weight loss will come. And when it does, you're already going to be feeling better and better.
But even if it doesn't come,
you feel
which
good.
it will, so what? So we say this all the time. I'll continue to say it. If you never lose another pound, but you're off of your metformin, you're off of your diabetes medication, you're no longer classified as a diabetic. You can move, you can walk, you get to go out and do paddle boarding. You're free of your anxiety. If you get all of that, but you don't lose any weight, is it worth it?
Yes.
Right? And it's a hard statement to look at. The weight loss will come, but this is about healing our body. Do not look at keto as a diet to lose weight, because I'm going to tell you now, this is going to get you in trouble.
Don't get in trouble, Joe.
If you are looking at keto to lose weight as a diet and have the intention right now coming and going, as soon as I lose the weight, I'm going off, you're going to gain the weight back.
Right.
I'm telling you, you're going to gain the weight back. The only way you won't, and I'm not even telling you have to stay keto, but if you're using keto to lose weight and have the intention to go back to your old lifestyle, when you get to the weight you want, you will gain the weight back. And I know that I'm going to get a bunch of hate for that statement. but it is true.
It is true.
You have got to change your relationship with food. You've got to look at the food, the standard American diet, the wheat, the grains, the sugar, the pasta, the fruit that you buy in the grocery store for the most part is not healthy for us. It's not good for us. And we have to, you can do keto and then start just eating 100 carbs so long as it's whole food, lots of vegetables and fruits you're growing in your backyard, and you will be fine. But if you go back to eating the sugar and the cereals and the chocolate and the ice cream and the pasta, you're probably going to gain the weight back. We've got to reevaluate. That's why I love Keto Chow. We stayed in the Keto Chow house. I love Keto Chow. I do not believe in using Keto Chow for 3 meals a day to lose your weight, because you will lose the weight. I will say that. You will lose the weight if you drink Keto Chow 3 meals a day. But as soon as you start eating food, you will probably gain it back because you haven't changed
with food. Yes. Now, if you're hearing a noise, it's because lawnmowers follow us. It's almost comical, and we say it even happens on our camping channel. Like you're out in the wilderness. As soon as we start taping something, a lawnmower shows up. When we're doing our sprint sessions at like the park, we are in the middle of like nowhere, and there's no one around. As soon as we turn the camera on, like lawnmower, like just comes in from nowhere.
Mary J. Angel, thank you very much for becoming a channel member. Next one we have is from Lynn.
Hey Lynn, can you recommend brands of eggs? I thought Eggland was good. I live in an HOA and I don't currently know any chicken farms. What brand should I buy while I search for a farm?
This is a great question.
Great question.
I actually have a grocery store trip planned for us later on this week to do an egg video, but I'll give you a little preview. When it comes to eggs, the first food, the one, I shouldn't even say the first food, the one food that you should be splurging your money on is eggs. Eggs, there is a huge difference between just the cheap, well, I guess they're not cheap anymore.
They're not, even the cheap eggs
they're cheaper. They're still one of the cheapest forms of food you can purchase. Mm-hmm. Okay, but what used to be 99 cents, now $2 a dozen eggs, right? There's a huge difference between those $2 a dozen eggs and the $8 a dozen eggs. Mm-hmm. There's a huge difference. Not just, you're going to see people make claims about omega-3 to omega-6. It's not that big of a change in ratio. The real difference comes in the vitamin content, especially the vitamin D. When you're eating eggs from chickens that are out in the sunshine, like our backyard chickens, or true pasture-raised eggs, they're absorbing the vitamin D. That vitamin D directly goes into the egg, which is bioavailable to you. The $2 eggs doesn't happen.
They're not seeing the light of day.
To sun. So that is the one place you need to splurge on your food. You need to, especially if you're eating them as a large source of nutrition. Like
right.
One of the best toppers on a burger is a raw egg yolk. One of the best.
Can we have it cooked a little bit?
It's super creamy, right? So, well, you like hollandaise sauce, which is raw egg yolk.
I know.
Right? Make a hollandaise sauce.
There you go. Make a hollandaise sauce. Butter mayo. Use the butter mayo.
But you want the really good quality egg. So if you can't afford them, if you go to the store, Vital Farms is pretty good. Happy Egg Company, the better ones are pretty good. It goes down. So here's my advice. When you look at eggs in the grocery store, the first thing you want to do is buy pasture raised, not free range, pasture raised. Free range eggs simply mean that chickens have access to outside.
If they can find it.
It doesn't mean they are outside. It means that there's a giant hen house and somewhere, and by law, it only has to be, I think, like a 3-foot, don't quote me on this, but like a 3-foot by 3-foot patch for all of them, where they have access to go outside. They are now free range eggs. Then you have cage free. Don't bother.
Right.
Then you have the regular ones. So if you can't get pasture raised, the next best is organic. Okay, and that is because of the feed they're giving them. The biggest scam in the egg industry, vegetarian fed eggs. Do not buy eggs that say vegetarian only fed.
Because chickens are not vegetarians. They're not. I mean, if I put out vegetarian feed for our chickens and I put out literally any protein source, like if I give them some hamburger, if I give them eggs, if I give them worms, if I give them grubs, if I give them chicken, they want
chickens are omnivores.
You can give them insects, they love it. They will run across to get a lizard. They love meat. So when you're touting, hey, our chickens are vegetarian,
you're basically saying that those chickens are not eating a proper chicken diet.
They need the
which means you're not getting all the nutrients.
PCD. They need their PCD.
Right.
Proper chicken diet.
We were joking last night at dinner. If you were to lay down, fall asleep in your hen house, there's a good chance that you're going to wake up with a bunch of cuts because they're going to peck you.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to eat you. Chickens, they will tear apart meat.
Chickens love meat.
Yep.
They're raptors.
They look like raptors.
They absolutely act like raptors.
Yep. Next one is from Tuli the Unruly.
How cute is that? I appreciate the discussion today. It helps to get reassurance. Sugar cravings are almost gone. That's way to go. But I admitted to feeling tired at a family gathering, and my dad told me to just eat good carbs and starch because humans are omnivores. I'm starting to feel odd for trying the ketovore diet. Everything feels better except my energy level. I'm not ready to quit. I'm glad you're not ready to quit. That is good news. But I would suggest take a look at your electrolytes, because when you're talking about like feelings, a lot of time it's because we're not giving ourselves the proper amount of electrolytes. You're probably, sometimes when I'm feeling a little down, I will go and, make sure I get some salt, make sure like it's been a while since I needed a little extra boost of magnesium, but I woke up, after a long days at KetoCon to some leg cramps. It's not that there's something wrong with the beef and the bacon that I'm eating. I needed some magnesium. So I took some magnesium and I felt great.
So yes, humans are omnivores. They are not carnivores. There's not saying there's anything wrong with the carnivore diet.
Not at all.
Let's get that straight. There's nothing wrong with the carnivore diet. But humans themselves are not carnivores. Humans are omnivores. To my knowledge, and we actually had a great anthropologist.
Yes, that was awesome.
Dr. Bill Schneider, I believe is his name, was at KetoCon, and he was talking about the evolution of like humans in the way we've gone after meat. How like it was small until we created tools to take down larger game and things like that. But to my knowledge, there is no civilization that has ever existed or currently exists that is a true carnivore. We're hunter-gatherers. The Eskimos, the Inuits, all of them, they mostly eat meat, but they do eat some nuts and some seeds and some berries and fruits and things like, and vegetables and things like that. So if you want to eat some vegetables, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we are omnivores. However, starch is sugar.
Right.
Okay? So understand that all starch is, humans or animals store sugar in the form of glycogen. Plants store sugar in the form of starch. So when you eat starch, you are eating pure sugar, which is why on the keto lifestyle, we avoid things like potatoes because they're very starchy, which is sugar, which will elevate your glucose.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next one is from Michelle.
The
fiber game. What works for me is I do not count fiber in single ingredient whole foods such as vegetables. I am completely on board for that.
Way to go.
The moment I consume a recipe of combined foods, I count half of the carbs and sugar substitute. For example, 10 total carbs with 6 grams of fiber and 4 sugar substitute. I would count 5 carbs instead of a net 0. I learned this from Thomas Galala. Yeah, and that is absolutely fine. Again, if you get started on keto, a lot of times you don't have a problem with net carbs. A lot of people can start on net carbs and have no problem.
Because you're making such a drastic change from the way you used to eat.
Yeah. The reason we are always going to advocate some form of total carb, whether it be just flat out count total carbs or do net carbs with a total carb count, is to help limit yourself. For example, we tasted some amazing treats this weekend.
We sure did.
Okay. One of them is, I have them packed, otherwise I pull it out, Salvation brownies. They are really good with some of the cleanest ingredients I have ever seen in a baked good. Aside from the $5 a brownie limiting me in the price, right. I think it was 20 total carbs for a brownie. It's only, I think, if I remember right, 2 or 3 net carbs. Most of it is allulose, and then there's some fiber from the cocoa powder. If I allow myself net carbs, I'm just go net carbs. I'm saying you can eat 10 of those brownies a day, Joe.
Yeah, because if you have like a, 20 or 30 net carb protocol, you're like, I'm gonna have, me some chicken or beef, and then I'm gonna eat 5 brownies.
Right. Now, what's wrong with that? Well, aside from the fact that your stomach is going to hate all of those sugar, alcohols, and allulose,
a toilet.
Generally, treats, whether it be standard American diet or keto products, keto treats, even if you make them at home, even when they're low in carb, tend to be pretty high in fat, which means pretty high in calories, which means pretty high in fuel. And if we overconsume fuel, consume more fuel than we are expending on a daily basis, then we're going to gain weight, or at least not lose weight. So yeah, I can add 10 of those brownies at 20 net carbs, but I'm also consuming 1,000 calories in brownies.
Right.
Which is not going to help my diet, right? It's not going to help my lifestyle. So we will always advocate, at least at minimum, having a total carb cap. I think doing it this way is a good, happy medium way up. And we used to do something like that. I'm always going to advocate, unless it's fiber from a vegetable, don't take it. Yeah. Don't take it out. If it's fiber in a bar, soluble corn fiber, things like that, count it. There are very few fibers that I just won't count. One of them being gum acacia, because gum acacia it's like carbs in liver. There's more health benefits to it, and your body absolutely does not digest it for fuel.
Right.
And then I'm fine with carbohydrates that come from vegetables, like
God
asparagus.
made it, I can consume it.
Yeah. Next one is from Sandra.
Hey Sandra, could you use butter powder, instead of melted butter in Keto Chow ice cream? And if so, would you have any suggestions on 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons? What do you think?
Okay, butter powder.
Butter powder.
We have some in our house. It's hidden. It's hidden very well.
Freaking delicious.
It's hidden very well so that Rachel can't find it.
Because we brought it into the house for
I use it for recipes.
And it is totally delicious. It is so delicious and has such a different mouthfeel to it that I was just taking a spoon, sticking it into the container and shoving it in my mouth hole. I mean, that was just what was happening. So I have to be very careful with butter powder.
Okay, so let's talk about powdered fat. Can you use powdered fats with Keto Chow for recipes? You absolutely can. Be aware that powdered fats, all powdered fats, have carbs in them. Significantly more carbs than
straight up butter.
The regular butter or the regular heavy whipping cream. So I'm known for saying all heavy whipping cream has carbs. Thank you very much, Kim Howerton. Kim Howerton and I think we're going to get adjoining tattoos this day. All heavy whipping cream has carbs, 0.43 grams per tablespoon. Heavy whipping cream powder will say 0 carbs. If you look at the serving size, gram for gram for fat, it's a lot less. It takes a lot of it. It's not like 1 tablespoon of butter powder to 1 tablespoon of butter powder, or 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream powder to 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream. They have carbs in them, and it's significantly more. So Keto Chow actually has a thing, if somebody can put it in the chat, they have a blog post on powdered fats. And Chris, because he's a nerd, actually has it completely broken down to how much. But for example, I want to say heavy whipping cream, it's like 6 carbs to 1. Okay.
That's a huge
And I know we're talking about butter powder, but butter powder is the same way. There's almost no carbs. There is a trace amount of carbs in regular butter, but it's like a rounding error. Okay. Whereas with butter powder, there's significantly more. If I remember right, to get the same amount of fat calories from butter powder to regular butter, it's like 3 carbs, if I remember right. So it's significantly more. Where can you use butter powder and stuff like that? Use it if you're hiking on the go. Sometimes we'll bring some with us on a trip like this because we don't have access to melting butter,
right?
Stuff like that.
You don't have a microwave
kind of stuff will
or
really
something.
help you. But yeah, so that is just something to be careful with when it comes to powdered fats. Is they all have carbs. And nutrition labels, I know you're going to say, well, my label says 0. They get to put so many in. I learned a couple of things this weekend. Like, they are legally required to round down when it's under 1. They're legally required to round down. I met a couple of companies who got into trouble because they were putting exact. Like, this has 1.17 carbs, and they got in trouble.
That's just being honest.
They were being honest.
Too honest, apparently.
And they were told, no, you must round down. So if something says 0, assume there's 1. If something says there's 1, assume there's 2. That is my best advice I can give you. Also, remember, they can be off by 20%.
20%.
So if something says it has 100 calories, it could have 120 calories.
I'll tell you what. Joe better not be faithful to me, but have a 20% leeway, right? I mean, if you think about it, 20% is pretty significant that they could be off.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but if you're watching us and don't have and don't have ads because you're using YouTube Premium, you're going to keep going, but we're not going to do a fade to black. We're just going to go. Okay.
And we're back.
We're back. That's what is from Chris.
Hey, Chris, any advice or recommendations on what to do when you have diarrhea? This is not related to keto transition or anything, but I have some sort of a bug. It has been fairly bad diarrhea today. I'm pushing more liquid and electrolytes to make up for that. I'm going to do some bone broth. Should I eat or will fasting help? First of all, Chris, I'm so sorry that you were feeling bad because like when you have an upset stomach, I mean, it just kind of like ruined your day. So I'm sorry about that.
I would not increase my electrolytes, or at least I would not increase my water.
There you go.
Okay. Increasing salt and increasing salt with water and increasing fat will actually give you diarrhea. People ask all the time on keto, I have constipation from going carnivore. How do I fix it? Increase fat, increase salt. That's the first place to look. I'm going to usually tell you increase salt. We went to Terry Black's barbecue.
Ooh, was that good?
We went there on Thursday, right? With Chris and Miriam and everybody else. Who else went? We had a couple people.
Yeah, we had a bunch of people that,
But anyway, we went
Katrina.
to Katrina. There you go.
Katrina was there.
Yep. So we went to Terry Black's. I don't think I got 20 minutes out of Terry Black's before I had to go to the bathroom. Why? Lots of salt,
lots of fat.
Right? You give me good fatty brisket, and I am in the bathroom. And a lot of people are that way. I don't know
if you need to share that.
It's if you're having constipation issues on keto, increase fat, increase salt. If you're having diarrhea, maybe cut back on that a little bit while you're going through that and see where it goes. Sometimes people have that on keto chow when they first get started. They have that kind of, and you can do probiotics. Some people, like Christy Davis, will add some beef gelatin. But some of the reason of that transition is your body is getting used to if you're doing keto chow. Like when we did 3 years ago, right? When the first time we had it,
bathroom pyrotechnics.
We did a 7-day keto chow challenge by Chris Bear when he discovered you can use butter, and we were drinking 400 calories of butter per meal 3 times a day, along with the amount of sodium that is in keto chow. And the first 3 days, we call it bathroom pyrotechnics.
Boy, howdy.
Cut back that fat a little bit, it went away.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're having diarrhea, I would maybe cut back on the fluid a little bit and cut back on the fat. I'm not going to tell you to cut back on the electrolytes because water chases salt. So if you are having that, you don't want to lose all of your electrolytes through diarrhea. Sorry. Now I'm just get this song. What is that?
I was gonna say, okay, thank you.
Can you sing it?
Are you serious?
Go ahead,
want
sing
me
a
to say
piece
it?
of it, just a quick, so I don't get demonetized.
Okay, when you're sliding into home and your pants are full of foam, diarrhea. Because like seriously, that's from that movie with Steve Martin.
Yes.
Parenthood. It's so good. Now I want to watch it. Last night we were watching Murder, She Wrote.
Okay, so let's move on. So yeah, so I would not cut back on the sodium. Maybe just cut back on the fluids a little bit. Water chases salt. If you cut back on the fluid, the salt will stay in your body. It won't have any water to flush it out. But again, not a doctor, a nurse, or a health practitioner.
Clearly, because none of those people would sing a diarrhea song.
Next one's from Joyce.
Hey, Joyce.
Would someone please explain the difference in sweeteners? And since they contain carbs, do I need to limit them? Yes. Why do you need to limit sweeteners? Because we don't want to have an addiction to keto sweeteners either. So unless you are dealing with liquid stevia, liquid monk fruit, or if you want to use liquid sucralose, which is technically an artificial sweetener, they all have carbs in them. Many of them your body does not digest the carbs. Okay, I'm not going to say all of them because xylitol is not 0 on the glycemic index. It's, I believe, 13 if I remember right.
You're just pulling numbers out of your butt this morning.
I believe it's 13.
Okay.
Technically, sorbitol is a sugar alcohol. Do not consume sorbitol.
Do not consume that.
Okay.
Talk about bathroom pyrotechnics.
So, sorbitol is digested in the body, will increase your glucose. However, it does it slowly, which is why they are allowed to legally market it to diabetics, because you don't get a sugar spike.
You see it.
It's over a long period
in
of
a
time.
lot of like sugar-free candy marketed to diabetics.
Yes, like Reese's Zero Sugar.
It's garbage.
Yeah, don't consume maltitol.
Ugh.
Another one.
Yeah.
Do not consume that stuff. Technically, they are sugar alcohols. But things, if you look at what we usually use on keto, erythritol, powdered monk fruit, which is usually monk fruit with erythritol, a little bit of monk fruit with a lot of erythritol. Allulose, xylitol. There are carbs in them. Most of them have 4 carbs per teaspoon. Why should you limit them? Because that is a lot of carbs. Again, I'm an addict. I can easily turn 100 total carbs into 0 net carbs.
Well, for me, like my sweet tooth can be like a hibernating bear. And when I can go for long stretches of time, like we did beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, I had no sweetener. Everything was fine. When I come out of a time of like restricting my sweeteners and you tap back into sweeteners, like basically, how much do I want to wake up that bear? Right. Do I want it to have a major influence in my life? Right. Do I love sweet treats? Absolutely. Like this is a coffee. It's got, keto sweetener in it. It's delicious. I could drink this stuff all day long. I mean, I would rather drink coffee with a sweetener in it than, water, but I need to have some water.
Now, here's the problem. So this is clean ingredients. Colombian coffee, which is water and coffee.
Yeah.
Milk protein, isolate cocoa powder, MT2L, potassium phosphate, natural flavors. Monk fruit, which is 0 carbs if you're using liquid. Organic green coffee, caffeine, and glandum. It's 4 carbs. Okay, why is it 4 carbs? Because it's coffee, and there's carbs in coffee. So probably 2 carbs. There's, 12 ounces? Probably 2 of the carbs come from the coffee alone. But we're not against keto sweeteners. We're saying put a limit on it. That's why we believe in a total carb cap. Make your total carb cap 30. Make your total carb cap 40. I don't care what you do, but make it a cap. This way you can have 1 keto treat with some sweetener, not 20.
Right.
Yep. Next one from Melody.
Hey, Melody. I've been eating keto carnivore since March. The hair on my scalp is falling out. I went to the doctor and he said stress, weight loss, and thyroid could be to blame. Possible. He said hormonal changes cause male pattern baldness. Last time I checked, I am a woman. He wants me to take a DHT inhibitor. The medicine is finasteride. It has terrible side effects. Has any woman ever been prescribed this? And what do you think about this medication?
Okay, so again, I'm going to say this again. We are not doctors, nurses, or health practitioners.
I can't even say the word properly.
So I'm not going to really address that other than what I'm going to say. You are in charge of your health care. You are in charge of your body. So you make the decision if you want to take a medication, okay? Especially if you're saying it has terrible side effects.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what to look at in my own personal experience, in what I've learned, what I've studied through my health courses that I'm taking, through my coaching courses that I'm taking. I am studying to become a board certified health and wellness coach and practitioner, but I am not yet. I can tell you what I've learned from examining this woman for the last 5 years.
I got my hair back.
Okay. Whenever you go on a weight loss diet, many times we lose hair. Look, I don't have that.
You came into this with
my
no hair.
beard did thin though.
Yes,
when I first started. Okay, so we do. Why? First of all, a lot of times is we restrict our protein, which is a big deal. But just consuming protein alone will not necessarily help your hair growth or your hair loss, because you are also losing vital nutrients and vitamins. And so when you go on especially a severely calorie restricting diet, we're not getting any of that. And then what happens is many times we're also severely restricting fat, and many of the vitamins that we need for our hair growth and our nails come from fat soluble vitamins. So we stop consuming the vitamins because we're just not consuming a lot of food overall. And then we severely limit the fat, which is what those vitamins need to get into our body.
Yeah.
And that's results in hair
Can't
loss.
unlock them.
How do you fix your hair loss? Eat your meat. Eat your meat, especially ruminant animals, which has lots of vitamin D and a lot of the nutrients that you need that are
fatty cuts.
Fatty cuts. Eat 1 to 2 meals a day until you are stuffed. Do not snack, and start with your meat. And that was pretty much the theme of this entire weekend. Eat your meat. Your plate should be 90% meat. People email us, our clients, for coaching, which if you did not know, we do coaching if you need it. It is absolutely not necessary, but some people do want that more private one-on-one. I need you to hold my hand. Rachel does a lot of stuff with addiction and things like that, and emotional counseling. I'm the one that's going to tell you do the right thing. But I can tell you right now, you don't need me, you don't need to pay us for a macro coaching, and we offer macro coaching. Where do you start? Everybody, unless you weigh about 90 pounds, should be starting at 100 grams of protein and 100 grams of fat. That should be about your bare minimum, and then we work from there, okay? Sounds like a lot. It's only about 1,400 calories. Rachel and we both did this weekend
a DEXA
scan. Rachel, and we're old. The older you get, the more this goes down. Her resting basal metabolic rate, which is she never gets out of bed or wakes up from sleep, is about 1,400 calories.
Exactly. So when we were going through, my printout and stuff, and the gentleman was saying, seriously,
we're doing a video on this.
You're gonna think that like, okay, 1,400 calories, and I'm having a lazy day. He's like, you need 1,400 calories
to not get out of bed,
to never even get out of the bed to go to the bathroom one time in the day.
Right.
You need to stay in bed, do nothing, look at the ceiling. Your body needs 1,400 calories to run.
And since we're going to show it anyway, I believe that is not like a super muscular woman, right?
No.
Your body fat was like 37, 38%.
I mean, yes, like I am not like, I do not have some sort of like ridiculous energy requirements. But what are we doing? I mean, how many ladies out there have
You're eating 1,200 calories.
1,200 calories or less, right? We try to see like, and I've been there for 2 years. I ate 500 calories a day. No wonder my body was so angry with me. Seriously, we calorie restrict too much.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're having a problem here, I'm not telling you not to take medication. What I am going to tell you is I would look more at your diet and your stress. Look there for maybe try to work on that, and then go from there.
Stress and sleep are huge factors.
Okay. Next one's from April.
Hey, April.
Has anyone had weight gain using LMNT? I've been using it for about a week and my weight has shot up 4 to 5 pounds. I cannot think of anything else it could be. I eat mostly meat and carnivore waffles. I'm 99.9% carnivore. I had coffee with a little bit of half and half, but I've always done that. I was thinking maybe the salt content in LMNT is just too much for me. Probably you're not consuming enough water
to flush it out.
There is no way you're gaining 4 to 5 pounds. So far as I know, there's no medical way you can gain 4 to 5 pounds of fat from simply consuming stevia, which is the only thing that would be bad in LMNT. Okay, there's
not bad, but I mean, the outside thing you don't need.
Right. Stevia is zero on the glycemic index, does not cause in most people any type of glucose reaction, and if it does, it's minuscule. Like you really couldn't even measure on a glucose meter because remember, there's a margin of error on glucose machines. So
try to.
It may go up 5 or 10 points, but that's nothing. So you probably
flush it out.
You're probably not consuming enough water. Yeah. So or not water, fluid.
Yeah, there you go.
So a couple of years ago, and we're actually planning a 72-hour fast. A couple of years ago, we did a 72-hour fast. 48 hours in, I had gained about 9 pounds. 48 hours fasting.
Eating nothing.
Could not figure out what was going on. At the time, we had come up with this ingenious idea, which blew up on the internet, of Redmond had their seasoned salt. And you do want to consume salt, sodium and water on fast. And so I was putting a teaspoon of Redmond seasoned salt.
It's so good.
Into a 12-ounce coffee cup of water.
Delicious.
And that's all I was drinking.
If you've never tried water,
and I was drinking about 6 of them a day.
That is not okay.
And so wasn't the sodium, that was the only fluid I was consuming. So I was up somewhere around 8 to 10,000 milligrams of sodium a day, which is what I consume now. But I wasn't consuming any fluid. And as I said earlier, water chases salt. So I didn't have enough water. So the sodium was chasing the water in my body, causing me to retain all of that water. And I was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I messaged Kim Howerton, I messaged Dr. Berry, and I'm like, how am I possibly gaining weight on a 48-hour fast? And Kim Howerton said, how much sodium you're consuming? And I said it, and she was like, stop for a little while. I went 12 hours where I only drank water, and I dropped 12 pounds overnight.
Boom.
Okay, so it's most likely you're not consuming enough fluid because you're salting your food. You're mostly carnivore. You're salting your food, and then you're consuming LMNT, which is 1,000 milligrams of sodium per shake or per drink. Next one is from Linda.
Hey, Linda. If I used to use Keto Chow electrolytes, but now have switched to the mineral supplement, do I still need to do the electrolytes also? Thanks for any thoughts you can give.
Okay, so Keto Chow electrolyte drops. I love them. If you're doing the daily minerals, I would say start with the daily minerals, and then from there you use the electrolytes if you need more. Okay, the daily minerals, what the daily minerals do not give you, they're going to give you all of the minerals that you need. Dr. Berry designed them because he was tired of taking multiple mineral supplements and iodine and everything else.
Coincidentally, I was too.
Yeah.
I was tired of taking them.
You were tired of taking them.
I was just tired of taking them and buying them all separately.
You take a dose of daily minerals every day. Maybe one day Keto Chow will figure out how to turn them into tablets because they don't taste that great. Until then, cook with them. You should have seen this last night. We're all eating these great, like 2-inch thick New York strip steaks, and every one of us are taking Keto Chow daily minerals and going like this.
Because you don't taste it.
You don't taste it.
We also love it in seltzer water. It turns it into suddenly a chore, an absolute chore to drink these daily minerals become a treat. It's San Pellegrino all of a sudden.
So the one thing that the daily minerals do not have is enough sodium. So all you do is salt your food.
I can do that.
So do a dose of daily minerals. If you find that you're still having some leg cramps, take some electrolyte drops.
Am I the only person that salts their bacon? Yeah. I was salting my bacon this morning, and I know I look like a stone cold weirdo, but like when bacon is cooked perfectly, like Steve is able to accomplish, I still want to put a little salt on it.
Next one's from Kathleen.
Hey, Kathleen, I've been so confused over the protein and fat thing. I was trying to get at least 120 grams, which I can barely do, but I can easily get more than that in fat when I only wanted 100 grams of fat. If I add more protein, it always adds more fat unless it is salmon or tuna, but I don't want that every day. Then Dr. Berry said, eat till you are comfortably full, but that puts me over the macros for fat. I am a slow loser and am afraid to eat too much. I am always hungry. I have been doing this since last fall and I have lost some weight, but I think I should have lost more. Frustrated.
Okay. So again, weight loss. This was another big thing this weekend. It's something that we talk about all the time, especially for ladies. Don't focus on the scale, focus on measurements. Get a DEXA scan, get a, oh my gosh, an in-body scale.
Oh, I was like, what?
Or a Whiting scale. Look at that kind of stuff. Measure yourself. The problem is, you could be like Rachel, where you were consuming 500 calories a day, and your body has to heal its metabolism for a while first. It's gonna take some time to heal your body if you're doing it. You're saying you're doing it for a while. When Dr. Berry says eat until you're comfortably full, he's talking about eating properly, right? Which is mostly meat, maybe a little bit of vegetables, leading with the meat, 1 to 2 meals a day until you're comfortably full, with no snacking in between. The more times you eat in a day, the more extra stuff you add in, the more you're going to have to look at your fat grams and everything else. If you are only eating 1 or 2 meals a day of 90 to 95 to 100% meat, and you are not snacking, do not worry about how much fat you're eating. You won't be able to overconsume it if you are eating mostly meat. If you're eating a whole bunch of keto treats and keto snacks and that kind of stuff, and putting gobs of butter on everything you eat, you're going to have to watch it. But people ask us how, I can't get 100 grams of protein. It's easy. 1 pound of 80/20 ground beef uncooked and 4 eggs. There's 100 grams of protein right there. It's actually 100 grams of protein and less than 100 grams. Or no, I think it's 108 grams of fat, but that's before cooking the meat. So when you're done, you end up with 100 grams of protein and about 90 grams of fat.
I highly recommend cooking that beautiful ground beef and then cooking the eggs into the ground beef.
Yeah, scramble the eggs, pour the eggs into the ground beef, cook it. There's your food.
That is so
100 grams
good.
of protein, 100 grams of fat.
And it cooks up quick. I like quick and delicious.
Next one's from Damara.
Hey, Damara.
Said, morning reflection. I'm really enjoying seeing everyone's courage and creativity with the Chop Challenge this month. I took one look at Rachel's menu plan. I saw insects and rabbit and immediately said, nope. It never occurred to me to modify a couple of days to fit my comfort level. My brain said, if I can't do this perfectly, then I'm not going to do it at all. Then I had a flash of insight of how many other experiences do I miss out on in life because I can't do something perfectly. I realize this is part of my old pattern of thinking and will make strides to really analyze my why I may be saying no to something. Does anybody else react this way to things outside of your comfort zone? Perfectly imperfect.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say, Damara, thank you so much for sharing this. It says that it was in Facebook. It was actually in Mighty Networks.
Yeah, I haven't made a Mighty Networks.
We need to make
because I'm not at home.
Yeah, we're not at home. So we will make a Mighty Networks logo because I really want to pull from that because you guys are sharing such wisdom.
Which if you are not a member of Mighty Networks,
insight.
Link down below where you can go to members.twocrazyketos.com. It is completely free. There, you will see a $5, a $10, and a $25. That is just for people who want to support us, as if they were on Patreon. 99% of everything goes into the free one. The other one is just they get videos early and they get some extra live streams, and we give them information first. So if we're going somewhere, if something really cool is happening in our life, we tell them before we tell everybody else. We will never lock videos other than live streams for them behind the paywall. If it goes there, eventually everybody else gets it.
Yes.
Just maybe a week or two later.
And it is, and I mean, we are 11 days into this new social media platform. So it's new. So it's just going to keep getting better. I think we have almost 1,000 people in there now.
There's more free groups being added this week.
Yeah. So
and a Zoom call for the $25 members.
So we have to be able to utilize it. But I'm really enjoying that, getting to know everybody. The chat feature is awesome. But I love what Damara shared. So we do monthly challenges every single month. We've been doing it for years now. And it's not for everybody, but it is a fun thing to do. And this
it's a good motivation.
It is. And this is a chop challenge that we're doing this month, where basically I'm just trying to help everybody. Okay, stay closer to Rachel. All right, come over here. We're getting messages from Becky that like, if I'm sorry if the microphone isn't perfect because we're not at home. But there's a chop challenge. I am trying to help everybody kind of think outside the box, maybe like get outside of their comfort zone a little bit. Sometimes we can get into a rut. We only use like maybe 3 or 4 proteins and we get kind of stuck in it.
I'm reading chat.
Oh, sorry. And I want to just kind of like open it up, maybe give you guys like today's chicken thighs. Maybe it's been a while since you had a good chicken thigh because you've been eating like a lot of, hamburger. I think tomorrow is shrimp. I'm looking forward to that. It kind of makes it exciting to get back into the kitchen again and cook. But yeah, there's going to be things that when you look at it, you think to yourself like, you know what, that's not for me. I really don't like that one type of protein. And maybe you think to yourself like, well, if I don't like to participate that one day, I don't want to participate any of the days. But like, don't feel like that, right? Give it a shot.
So we got one more, and then we want to get into the chat before we have to get out of here since we have a checkout time. So the last one's from Ola. Said, good morning. I have a notebook where I keep track of my non-scale victories. It helps me a lot to not feel defeated. New one yesterday I had not ever thought about, but it's no bug bites.
That's awesome.
Outside by the pool last night with the family and no bug bites this morning. I used to get welts from so many bites.
This is another one from Mighty Networks. Ola, thank you so much for sharing this because yes, that is a huge thing for me. I used to get eat up every single time we had the summer months. What I really loved about this post was the fact that you are taking a notebook and writing down non-scale victories. I think that is so important. You can do it on your phone in the notes option. You can have, pen and a pad of paper by your bed. But you know what? There are going to be days where you are frustrated in your keto life. And I think it's very important to be able to quickly have access to reflect on good things that are happening. You have experienced victory. You want to write those things down. And it doesn't have to be like, hey, I got on the scale and I've lost this much weight. It can be, hey, I have not had sugar in this many days. Hey, instead of spending the weekend indoors, I went outside. I had a picnic with my family. Maybe I did a new activity that I've never done before. I love Robin has been here for KetoCon. I have really enjoyed spending time with you, Robin. And she has been sharing all of her kind of adventures. She went biking, she went rafting. Last night she went on like a bat tour to see where they have like the bat houses. Those are victories. They're non-scale victories, but they're victories that you need to remember. I am doing things. I am living a bigger life, even as I'm getting a smaller size.
Yeah, and if you're on Mighty Networks, post your non-scale victory there and then tag it. There's a topic, non-scale victory. Put it in there because people are like, oh, I didn't think about that being a victory, but it is. Okay, let's get into some comments. I saw one from Sharon. It said, my birthday was yesterday. Can you sing happy birthday to me?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sharon. Happy birthday to you and many more.
Okay, let's see. Thank you to everyone. We're going to go backwards since we're actually caught up on it.
Oh, they're saying lean into the mic, Joe.
Joanna said,
hey, Joanna.
I mentioned to non-keto people how I put salt in my coffee and all my drinks, and they cringe. Looked at me like I was nuts.
I really enjoy the chocolate salt elements in my coffee.
Yep.
But yeah, people look at you like you're nuts.
That said, I only drink water and electrolytes in every glass. Is that okay? Depends on how many electrolytes and how much water you're drinking. If you find you're retaining water, if you find maybe only do electrolytes in every other one. I generally I view electrolytes in my drinks the way I used to view if I would go out and drink alcohol when I was younger and I drank alcohol. And that was, I had to have a glass of water for every other. I'm not advocating drinking alcohol.
Don't go out. Don't change
Oh my gosh,
out.
there we go. Like I can see the headline. Joe says drink alcohol.
Instead of electrolytes.
Right now,
no,
what I'm saying
don't do
is
that.
the way I did it was, drank a glass of alcohol, glass of water. So maybe do that. Glass of water, glass of electrolytes. Glass of water, glass of electrolytes.
See if there's a change.
If you're finding you're not having a weight loss, or if you're finding you're retaining water, try that. Maybe it depends on how active you are. I consume 8,000 to 10,000 milligrams of sodium a day. I'm extremely active outside. I thought Florida was hot until I saw Austin,
Texas.
Like I never complain about the heat in Florida, but
you're beating us.
Boy, is it hot here.
You're beating us here in Texas.
Yeah, fluids are necessary. Pat said, how do you feel about dry fast? I am not willing to do one for several reasons. Number one, I like my water. Number two, there is not a shot in the dark Rachel would stay in the same house with me if I never brushed my teeth or took a shower for 24 hours. Nope. If you are going to do a dry fast, you should not do it for more than 24 hours. I don't think it's safe. My personal opinion. I don't think it's safe to go more than 24 hours without consuming any fluid. A real true dry fast is no water, including brushing your teeth or taking a shower.
It is not safe for Joe to not take a shower. If he would like to come,
I smell.
If you would like to come sleep in the bed with me. Well, here's the thing. Landscaping generates a lot of dirt and grass all over your body. So like he'll come home and all of the little nooks and crannies of his ears will be like filled with dust and dirt and grime. He gets it all in here. So we be using the water.
Cool Kid Keto said, I found that my hydro flask, I use in my hydro flask, my water intake increases a lot.
You know what guarantees me to drink more water? First of all, Cool Kid Keto, it was so great to meet you guys at KetoCon. Just love getting to actually like see your face. And I do want to say, like, I am very sorry for anybody that I saw in person at KetoCon, and I may have actually just like touched your face, but that is how excited I am to actually see you. It's like a hug is not even enough. Like, I love your face. I just want to touch you. So, but yeah, if you want me to drink a bunch of water, it really needs to be good and cold. I love me some cold water. I think it is like next level. If you can just have it in a jug, no ice in it. You know, I love those jugs that have like keep going lines. You know, you're doing it. Way to go. You're awesome. But like, if it is tepid, I am not as excited about it. So if I want to drink a lot of water, I really like it to be good and cold. And those hydro flasks, my little flip the flask really helps me to enjoy water, not just get it in, but like love it.
Yeah. Okay. Joanna said, Weight Watchers had me at a cap of 1,200 calories per day when I was 25.
Wow.
I remember the struggle and the hunger. Can't believe I used to believe in that way of eating. It's the calories in, calories out model, which doesn't work.
It just does not work.
Okay. Do you need to count calories? No. Do you need to count fuel?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Another video. But even when we got our DEXA scans done and the guy showed us, this is your basal metabolic rate, which is still an estimate. If you've really messed up, that's based on your age, how much muscle you have. That's what you should have, okay? Based on your muscle and your age and everything else. But if you've slowed down your metabolism, we've got to work on that.
Yeah.
Okay. But he said, and this is not a keto guy. This is a scan guy.
Yeah.
Who happened to be running the device. And he goes, this is your basal metabolic rate. Mine was right around 1,800. And he said, eating at that level or lower for an extended period of time will result in you slowing down your metabolism to the point where you will gain weight. If my basal metabolic rate is 1,800, I should probably be consuming a minimum of like 2,500 to 2,800.
Yeah.
I don't. There's many times where I don't even consume 1,800, which then you wonder what's going on, because I've slowed my metabolism down.
Well, and it's interesting. So again, I really enjoyed getting the DEXA scan, having the in-body scan. These are tools. There's no emotion in it. Joe has no emotion with his hammer, right? Like he uses it when he needs it. You got a tile saw, you use it when you need it. but there's no emotional connection here. Like, I wonder, what's going to happen with this towel saw, right? We are the ones that add emotion to the scale. We're the ones that like look at that DEXA scan and we're like, gosh, I don't want to see that outline a certain way. It's information. I was so like happy. A non-scale victory for me this weekend was what I was most interested in when I got the DEXA scan was, what is the feedback on my bone density? Mm-hmm. I want to see, where is my bone density at, right? And it's good. Like, spoiler alert, it's really good.
And she has almost zero fat. Like, I think they said you aim for 0 for fat around your organs, and below 2 was good, and hers is like 0.5.
But what do
he's
we?
Like, it's like really. He's like, nobody gets 0.
But what do we do? I should be like celebrating that. Was there still fat on my body? Yes, of course. There's plenty of room for improvement around my thighs and everywhere. No neck. That's where I lose all my weight, is my neck. Pretty soon I'm just going to be like a bobblehead. But yeah, there's room for improvement there. But where should I be celebrating fat loss? Around my organs, where it can be a serious problem.
Okay, a couple more before we get off. Becca said, Joe, I'm trying to eat 2 to 1 fat to protein for mental health reasons. Does this mean I should aim for 200 grams of fat? I think you should eat until you're comfortably full, a minimum of 100 grams of protein, and eating fat until you're satiated. If you are trying to eat higher fat for more ketones, consume as much as you want. I know that you're not really trying to lose weight. I think 1 to 1 is a bare minimum for everybody. Dr. Berry says the same thing. 1 to 1 is a bare minimum, and then you work from there. Some people do well on 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. If you're trying to have really high ketones, again, high ketones do not equate to more weight loss, but they are really good for other things like mental health and cognitive function. You can also look at the types of fats that you're eating. For example, coconut oil, MCT oil, those kind of things will turn to ketones faster. But yes, if you are trying to eat more, if you're trying to eat more fat to have higher ketones, you need to up it up. But it may 2 to 1 might be good, maybe 3 to 1, maybe 4 to 1, maybe 1.5 to 1. It really is going to depend on you. That's where you want to measure your ketones. Is check it. If you're eating 200 grams of fat and 100 grams of protein, which is not horrible, then and you're getting the results you want, then keep eating that way.
I would definitely keep like a record. Journal what is going on. How are you feeling? If you are tracking for cognitive function, for clarity, for how you feel, then definitely I would write down, okay, today this is what I ate. And this was the ratio, and this is how I felt, and this is what my energy was. Just, you want to be keeping track of it.
And that's where you want to use the Keto Mojo.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time talking to Keto Mojo. We do have a code for it down below, and I think we're going to have them come on with us because they have put millions, and I mean millions of dollars into their new app where you can even put food pictures and it tracks everything. And he was showing me some of the things that this app does, and it is amazing, and that is going to be a huge benefit. Okay, let's do like a couple more, and then we got to get off because we have to get out of this room.
They're gonna kick us out of the B&B.
Matreya said, by the way, Rachel, your hair always looks nice, but today it is extra incredible.
Thank you. I will say thank you so much to the great state of Texas for having less humidity than we do in Florida. I always look forward to traveling, because if you're in Florida, like, don't have a lot of high hopes for your hairstyle. You get it all fixed in the mirror, and then you walk outside and like zap goes the hair. But I appreciate like just having a little bit of a respite for the humidity that we have at home.
Okay, Debbie, great question. I'm trying to lose weight and thought perhaps I should try OMAD, but then I can't get as much protein in just one meal as they say I should get. So would it be better to do 2 meals? I am not a huge proponent of OMAD. Do I think that there's a good place for it? Yes. Do I think, my personal opinion, you should OMAD every day? No. Especially if you have a hard time. If Rachel could OMAD every day, no problem.
I'm extra that way.
Why? Because Rachel has a hollow lid.
I do. I actually OMADed 3 Keto Chow ice creams.
in the bathtub.
Imagine eating like 3 of those Ninja Creamies in a sitting.
And each one had 400 calories of butter. 4 tablespoons of butter for each one.
Most human people cannot do that.
Yeah. So, I'm not a huge proponent of OMAD because you generally cannot consume enough of your fuel, and if you're doing it for an extended period of time, you will slow down your metabolism. I think OMAD is great once or twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. I am more of a proponent of having an eating window. So you can make that whatever you want. You can start off with 16.8, move it to 18.6. You can go to 24, which is so for 20 hours a day you don't eat, and then in 4 hours you consume as much as you want, so long as it's good, healthy food. Okay, whenever you want. So if you want to eat every hour for 4 hours, then you eat that way, and then for 20 hours you don't eat anything. I think that is the better way to do it. So you can eat a meal, and that's how I function well. We get an order of 30 wings or 15 wings. I can't eat more than 7 or 8 in a sitting, but an hour later I want more. Rachel can eat 15 or 30 wings in a sitting. Yeah. So, and I think that is the better way to do it. I also believe, especially for people as we get older, over 40, I think it's good to switch it up. Do one day, and the next day do something else, and just change. Our body likes change. Yeah. That's basically what we're doing. Okay, one more. Let's see. Jen said, have a safe trip back home.
Thank you so much.
Debbie Sue. All
Debbie
my past
Sue.
doctors told me because I have PCOS, I will always be fat, and I have to keep my calories under 1,000 calories a day.
Nope.
I will struggle with weight loss. Grateful for low carb doctors.
Amen to that. I am so glad that you're not.
I'm not a doctor, but I think that is horrible advice.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but I think it's horrible advice.
Yeah.
Nobody's body can function properly on 1,000 calories a day.
No, and you know what? When you get prescribed that, and like back to where you were saying, like, you know, they were saying you had to have like, you know, 1,200 calories a day. It's not enough to function. I mean, you were in your 20s when you were getting that 1,200 calorie. You know, the person who said like 1,200 calories. You can't function, and then you feel bad about yourself. You're thinking like, oh my gosh, I bet I'm the only person who can't function on 1,200 calories a day. I should be a better human being. I should be more disciplined, or there's something wrong with me that I am tired or angry about this and I don't feel good. Like, I wish that I was a normal human being who could just do without, you know, anything more than 1,200 calories. You are a normal human being. What is not normal is the 1,200 calorie nonsense. Yep. That's what's not correct. It's not you.
We are going to get off. It's 10:13 or 11:13 on the East Coast.
We got to pee one more time before we leave.
I got to do more than pee. I ate a nice fatty breakfast. Okay, so we are going to get off. We thank everybody. We've got lots of videos coming out this week and over the next couple of weeks. We got some cool challenges. We've got some cool ideas. We met a bunch of people. We're going to be doing some interviews. We might even be starting a podcast. Looking into that tomorrow night. So,
yes.
Guys, thank you so much, and we will see everybody on Thursday for our regular live stream at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
We love you guys. Have a great week. Oh, and we're back.